Hey, thanks for checking out my video. Today's video is going to be a bit of a quick one because Bradley and I are taking my little nephew to monster trucks. So I don't have a lot of time to dilly-dally, but I still wanted to film this look quickly because I knew I want to do something colorful. I kind of want to match my sweater sleeves here. And yeah, since I'm doing a little bit more of a fun look, I thought it'd be fun to also film it. I'm sure my camera is probably picking up the background sound. Bradley is working in the basement. But like I said, we don't have a lot of time before we have to leave, so I didn't really want to ask him to not work, just so I could film like a 10-minute video. So hopefully it's not too distracting. Alright, so as you can tell, my base is already finished. I just used a combination of things from my everyday makeup drawer. So if you're interested in what I've been reaching for lately, you could check out my last Shop My Stash video. So for the eyes today, as I mentioned, I kind of want to match my sweater sleeves. So I'm going to be using the Unearthly Spaced Out palette. So this is what the color story looks like. I think I'm primarily going to be using the green and dark blue and then probably one or two of these shimmers here. And I don't want it to get too smoky or bold. I do want it to be like fun and colorful, but I am going to dip into this Nomad palette probably for a couple of like the lighter shades just to brighten up the look and to keep it a little bit more light and fresh, a little playful. So yeah, that's the plan. Alright, so my eyes are primed, so let's get into the eyeshadow. I think I'll start with the Unearthly palette. And as I mentioned, I don't want this to be like too bold or like intense of a look. I just want it to be a little bit more bright. So yeah, I'm going to start with Spaced Out, and then I'm going to do a little bit of the dark blue in the outer corner. And I'm wanting this to be kind of like a two-toned look so that it sort of matches my sweater. I love matching my makeup to my outfits. I feel like I just feel so much more complete when everything is cohesive. Is anybody else like that? So I'm just taking that blue on a smaller brush. Again, I don't want this to take over too much, but I want there to be enough of it that it is clearly like a two-toned blue and green look. Just taking a bit of a fluffier brush, and I mean, if the dark blue does get a little bit out of hand, I'll just use a lighter shimmer all over the lid, just to keep everything as bright as possible. But I do really like this blue shade. Just taking that a little bit under the eye too. I don't want to blend the blue out too much, just because I don't want the depth to take over. So I'm going to reach into the Nomad palette, and I think I'll reach into this shade called Now Is Forever, and I might blend out the dark blue with that, even though I feel like this is teetering between a blue and a green, but I know I'm going to use this one to blend out the inner part. So yeah, I think I'll just try this one for now to blend out the outer part. Oops. And I'm just going back in with a little bit more of that dark blue called Stoked. And I think I'll actually mix the kind of mint and the yellow to blend out this top part here, just because this isn't quite green enough, I feel like. So yeah, I'm gonna mix these two and see how that looks. And I'm also kind of going over that center part there, because I feel like that will kind of tie everything in together too. Alright, I think that's looking pretty good so far. So I'm just going to try and figure out which shimmers to use. I feel like the obvious choice would be to use Good Vibes from the Spaced Out palette. And the other kind of option we have is Moshi Moshi from this palette. They look pretty similar, so I'm just going to do a quick little swatch. Wow, so these look pretty much identical. I think the Unearthly one, which is this one, might have a little bit more like dimension to it. But I mean, overall, I think these are pretty much the same. I'm not going to add a glitter glue because I feel like I don't need these to be the most like metallic and intense. I really just wanted kind of like a shifty wash of sparkle all over the lid. So since these are pretty much the same, I guess I'll just start with the Good Vibes one from the Unearthly palette, which is this one. And I don't know, I guess maybe I'll top it over with the other one, even though they're the same. And I kind of just want this all over. Since it's got kind of a shift to it, I feel like it'll look very different layered over the top of the green versus the blue. So I'm happy to just stick with the one shimmer for now and see how that looks. And then just because it's already on my finger, I'm going to add that Nomad one in the center just for a little extra sparkle and shift in that area. And I'm going to like kind of sprinkle it over top too. I feel like that's pretty. I kind of want to do a somewhat deeper shimmer, like just in the outer part here, just to kind of make it flow a little bit better. This is kind of like the darkest option between the two palettes. So I just don't know. I don't really want to dip into a third palette. I don't know if this is like really the vibe. Also, here's the world's smallest swatch on my tiny little pinky. I don't know. It's got like a yellow shift to it. Let's just go for it because I don't really feel like adding a third palette. I just want to stick to these two today. You know what? I think that's perfect. And that was the shade Shroom from the Unearthly palette. So I think I'm going to do the same on the inner part of the lower lash line as what I did on top here. So I'm going to start with Spaced Out, and I'm putting that on a smaller pencil brush just to really get the color in there, and then I'll blend it out with the other shades from the Nomad palette. So same thing, like I said, I'm just going to mix the mint and the yellow shade and then blend out the lower lash line. I just wanted something fun enough that my 8-year-old nephew will know that I'm the coolest aunt. So hopefully we achieve that today. I'm just going to take some of the mint shade alone and blend out some of the outer part of the lower lash line. Just to really brighten it up. And I'm going to take this green shimmer as well and pop that on the center of the lower lash line. I don't really need to mix 2 or 3 shimmers like at the top because it's like really just a small detail. And this one was already open, so I went with this one. I'm going to do the same combo for the inner corner, so I'm just going to mix the mint and the yellow from the Nomad palette. Alright, so I think that's pretty much going to be the look. I feel that was pretty quick and simple, but I feel like it's also a really fun look and has a little bit more impact. But yeah, I'm going to finish this up. I'm going to put on probably a smaller lash. I'm going to find something for my lips, and I'll be back to show you the final look. All right, so this is the finished look. Let me give you a little close-up. I think it turned out really cute. For the lashes, I just went in with my trusty Ardell Naked Lashes. I used 2 pencils for the waterline. This one was a dark green from... Whoa! I went in with these 2 pencils in the waterline. So in the outside, I used this dark green from ColourPop, and it's the shade Idyllic? I'm not really sure. I need to start picking products that I can pronounce. And then on the majority of the waterline, I just used this really pale yellow, and it's in the shade Extra Frosting. For the lip combo, I just used this liner from Urban Decay in the shade Insanity. And then I just blotted on some of this liquid lipstick from Smashbox in the shade Yes Honey. And then I added just a little bit of this butter gloss from NYX in the shade Fortune Cookie, and I just kind of dabbed some of that on top. But yeah, that's the lip combo, and that's pretty much it for the look today. So yeah, this is pretty much the look today. I feel like I did a pretty good job matching the color scheme. Hopefully you don't mind a bit of a shorter video. Again, I didn't have a lot of time, but I knew I was going to do something a little bit more fun with the makeup, so I still wanted to film it. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the look and the video. Thanks so much for spending your time with me today. I'm going to go catch some monster trucks, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!